Peter Icovello in from Presence Wellness in Westport, Connecticut. He's also the founder and owner of Bronxville Wellness Sanctuary in New York. And I've always wanted to know about lymphatic drainage, and so it was so fun when I received your comments from last week's class, where I asked you guys in class, I solicited responses. I said, what would you like to learn more in your RYT 300? Because this is the advanced degree, so we have the opportunity with so many elective hours to take a deep dive into aspects that interest this particular training group. And when I saw one of the comments that asked about lymphatic drainage, I was so excited because I knew I had the guy for the job. So Peter's been amazing to volunteer with us as our Teach for a Cause lead trainer, and he is actually the accrediting instructor for our RYT 300. So Peter, I'm at your disposal, and let us move and feel good and learn something or two about lymphatic drainage.
May I just give a little overview of it?
Of course.
So again, anything we offer here is not for medical purposes. So I always say, if you have any conditions, please check with your doctor. I certified this year in lymphatic drainage. Why? Because everybody wants, all my clients were asking me, so I certified both in yoga and massage therapy for it. So just a quick overview of lymphatic drainage. It's our secondary circulatory system. Blood is number one, lymph is number two. Now, if you have lymphedema, if you've been diagnosed with lymphedema, please check with your doctor before doing any of these poses. Or if you feel like you're cleared and you can do movement, leave it up to yourself. Again, we're not here to diagnose anybody, or we're not here, you just have to be very careful, especially if you're becoming a teacher, to know where your boundaries are as far as telling people, this is going to cure lymphatic drain, this is going to cure lymphedema. It's not. We're going to help, we're going to be an aid to help move, a vehicle to move. So the poses that we're going to go over are all poses that work with lymph, that work with the lymph system. And to be honest with you, all poses in yoga work with the lymph system. If you're moving the if you're moving the circulatory system, you're moving the lymph system. But these poses are more of the gentle kind, accessible for everybody. There are some advanced poses as well that we're not going to go over, unless you guys ask for it in YouTube land. But for our purposes, these poses are for just about any person to do. And you can also take these poses later on down the road. We can offer, maybe if we both feel deemed necessary, we can also offer it for people that don't feel comfortable doing them on the ground or standing. We can do them in a chair. So just know, there are plenty of ways to modify. With that said, the lymphatic system, just very briefly, again, like I said, is your secondary circulatory system. And with that said, it's just under the first layer of skin. So it's a very, very, it's not like you have to dig deep for it. It's one of these things where you're stretching and opening and moving or twisting where you are affecting these systems. And for the majority of the system, it's up here in our chest. They go into our arms, our groin, our abdomen is another area. So we're trying to get the the lymphatic system to drain from the lower body into the abdominal, into the groin, into the abdominals, up into the upper body. I'm not going to go over the specific anatomy for it because it's way too much, way too advanced, and I'll lose you guys. And I don't want to lose you guys. I want to gain. We want to gain here. So very briefly,
I just want to add something. So for those of you in our RYT 300 course, the first section of anatomy actually talks about inclusiveness and how to understand and study anatomy and be knowledgeable as a yoga teacher, but not necessarily use that knowledge in your yoga classes verbally by saying every anatomical term, because in some ways that can exclude some people. It can feel intimidating. So that's something that you can play around with as you get to know your class dynamic.
Right. We can talk scientific here, but we're not doing that. This is for the masses, right? So let's keep it that way. Thank you, Ashley, for that. So with that said, we're going to do more of a static practice today, meaning like we're going to do one pose at a time versus a flowy practice, right? But to start, we're going to do one flow on each side. We're going to do sun salutation A to start. And that's how we'll open up the whole system, open up the body, warm it up. And then we're going to do each pose one at a time. You already know these poses. There's nothing new here that we're going to demonstrate. But we're just going to talk about how it affects the lymphatic system very briefly with each one.
Awesome. And it's fun to move together in a live environment. There's a special energy with that. So Peter, would you like me to just go ahead and do sun salutation A, or do you want to cue me? Or
sure, why don't I just...
Or do you want me to just do it and you talk about lymph stuff, or whichever you...
In sun salutation A, I'm not going to talk about the lymph stuff. I'm just going to just cue you. How's that sound?
Okay, amazing.
All right. So with that said, thank you so much for letting me explain and talk, which is very, very challenging for me to do, believe it or not. I am shy on camera, as Ashley knows, but she likes to pull me on camera every so often, which is great, because it gets me out of my comfort zone. Yoga is all about being present and whatever's going on in that moment, and you honor it. So from here, Ashley, come to mountain pose, or Tadasana, Tadasana, that's what I like to say sometimes. And then from here, root your feet down to the earth, scissor your inner thighs in towards one another. And then from here, drop your sacrum down, pull the belly in. Stack your shoulders over your hips. Lengthen through the crown of the head and a slight tuck of the chin. And begin to take an internal scan of your body. And notice how you feel. Take notice, take inventory. And imagine yourself standing at the top of a mountain. At the very top of this mountain. Pull the shoulder blades in towards one another. Belly in, lengthen through the crown. Keep adjusting. Turn the heels out ever so slightly. Why do we turn the heels out? To engage the side body. So as you turn the heels out, you squeeze the thighs together without moving. You pull that belly in to regulate, to balance. And just begin to notice your breath. Notice your breath. On your next inhale, sweep the arms out and overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, hands to shins, half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, plant the hands, step back to plank. Shift your weight forward in your plank. And then come down to knees, chest, chin. Inhale into low cobra, baby cobra. Draw the shoulders, the hands beneath the shoulders. Slide the hands a little closer in towards the body. Elbows in. Draw the head forward just a bit. Yeah, looking down. Lengthen through the back of the neck, a slight tuck of the chin. We know we all like to lift our head. Inhale. Tuck the toes under. Power yourself through plank. Exhale, downward facing dog. In your down dog, spread your fingertips wide.
Sorry, just want to fix the outfit.
You see Ashley's hands sliding is because she likes to oil her hands. Step your right foot forward, left foot forward, forward fold. Hug your opposite elbows. Let your head be heavy. Inhale, hands to shins for half lift. Exhale, rise up, mountain pose. Inhale, sweep the arms out and overhead. Exhale, forward fold.
Sorry. My arms have a little row.
Inhale, half
Someone's
lift.
trying to fly.
Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, plant the hand, step back to plank. Exhale, knees, chest, chin, just warming the body. Inhale, baby cobra. Exhale, down dog. Step the left foot forward, right foot forward, forward fold. Hug your opposite elbows. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, rise up to stand. Mountain pose. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. And then just begin to notice how you feel. Just a few moments of movement. A few moments of breath. Just noticing. Noticing how the body feels, how it sits here, how you can become one with yourself. Breathing in and breathing out and breathing in and breathing out. And now from here, I'm going to ask you, Ashley, to inhale the arms out and overhead. Exhale, forward fold. So this is the beginning, and the poses are going to be different. So this is the beginning of a lymphatic drainage pose. Why slight bend of your knees to protect your lower back? So in this forward fold, by having your arms out to the sides, you're just allowing the circulation, let your head go completely. So we have lymph in the back of our head, lymph that runs up and down the spine, lymph fluid. And then we have lymph in the front body. Most of the lymph nodes are in the front body, but we do have in the back body as well. So by doing this forward fold, we're releasing the back body. So you're opening up all of the lymph channels, lymph nodes in the back body. And then in the front body, we're slightly compressing the abdomen. So when you begin a lymphatic drainage massage, the first thing we do is compress the abdomen. Slight compression of the abdomen to open up the body, to prepare the body for the lymphatic, to prepare the lymph system, so that we can move the lymph throughout the body. So we hold each pose from 30 to 90 seconds. 30 to 90 seconds. And that goes when you're doing poses on each side, you would hold for 30 to 90 seconds. So if you only have a few minutes, you maybe hold up each pose for 30 seconds. If you have time, hold it for 90. And then from here, Ashley, begin to plant your hands onto the earth. And then step your right leg back and drop the right knee down. So low lunge, and then from here, inhale, sweep the arms out and overhead. Angiasana or low lunge, and then draw the hands to heart center, and then begin to twist so that the right elbow comes on the outside of the left knee. So now what we're doing here, bring that left elbow down towards the body, left elbow, left elbow. Yeah, there you go. Hands to heart center, and then take your.
Sorry.
No, you're twisted. Perfect. I just want your left elbow down. Yeah, so it's relaxed. Good. And just twist a bit more to the left. Yeah. So this is another pose for the lymph system here. And what we're doing is we're opening up the right side of the body from the right armpit all the way through the right hip, into the right groin, into the right thigh. So you have one long line of energy from the back of the right leg, through the front, through the thigh, all the way through the right armpit, into the right arm, to help promote lymphatic drainage on the right side of the body. You don't necessarily have to begin with the right side or left side. Just know that it's optional. You don't even have to start standing. I do because Ashley was already in mountain pose. And then from here, Ashley, inhale, rotate the body to center, plant the hands down. And then step your left foot back to place. And then step your right foot forward. Lower the left knee down. Beautiful. Inhale the arms out and overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, elbows in and rotate so that your left elbow and right elbow comes down. There you go. Hands to heart center. And then twist. Beautiful. So the same benefits, same thing that we were doing on the right side, we're offering on the left, low lunge twist. There's a whole bunch of benefits here, right? But we're going to just talk about the lymphatic drainage benefits. So drop your head forward ever so slightly. There you go. So you're not sticking your neck out for anyone. So again, opening up the entire right side, prepping the left side for lymph drainage. The twist, again, another compression of the abdominal. So we're compressing the right side abdominal, opening up the left side. So on the other side, we created a tourniquet when we rotated and we compressed the left side in the twist, we opened up the right. So just know what you're doing here in these twists. And then from here, actually rotate the body to center. And then now plant the hands down. Step the right foot back and now come into downward facing dog. And this is pose number 3 out of our sequence. And then I will hold the camera, my phone in front of the camera at the end to show all the poses that we do for lymphatic drainage. There are more, there are less. These are just offerings, but these are the poses.
Just read it, or...
We can read them off, yeah. Downward facing dog. Beautiful. So in down dog, you might want to hold down dog for about 90 seconds. Hold that the longest, so to make any necessary adjustments. Would you like a blanket under your hands?
I'm okay.
You're okay. Spread your fingertips wide. Press your chest towards your knees. Slight bend in your knees. I'm going to come over and make one slight adjustment, if I may.
Mm-hmm. Thanks.
Beautiful, Ashley. So far you're in there about 45 seconds to go. And you know, in this you can walk the dog if you'd like. What's nice about walking the dog is, again, what you're doing is you're pumping the fluid from the lower body through the legs into the upper body. The last pose, when you see the last pose, you guys are gonna love it. So all we're doing is prepping for the last pose. I'm not gonna call it out, I'm not gonna say it. So far we've done mountain pose to prep our body, to get a good handle on where our body is. Then we've done standing forward fold, or Uttanasana. And then we did Anjayasana, twist. And then now we're doing Ardha Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. So this is our third pose in our sequence. Another 10 seconds here. As we're in here, I'll just briefly say, again, the same thing we did in the same type of benefits in our standing forward fold are the same benefits to the lymph system in Ardha Mukha Svanasana, or downward facing dog. However, in this, you're really opening up the front of the shoulders as well and chest by pressing your chest towards your knees, spreading the fingertips wide, and you're really stretching out through the chest and shoulders so that you can get into the lymph systems. This pose is not for everyone, though, as you could tell. I mean, Ashley's perfectly fine doing it, but I wouldn't ask everyone that might be experiencing lymphedema, or anyone who's had recent surgery in their arms to remove lymph nodes, or recent cancer diagnosis or radiation. Just know that where people's limits may lie. They might have weak shoulders and they may feel nervous about stretching out, the lymph system here. And then from here, Ashley, come forward into plank, drop the knees, and then press back to child pose. Pose number 4. And I always have to do this every time Ashley's in child pose, so I'm gonna do it. She knows what it is. She's already smiling, I could tell. The ground is very happy because she's smiling. So child pose, again, the benefits. What are the benefits here for the lymph system? Again, stretching the chest, but this time it's passively, right? So it's a very easy stretch through the chest. Opening up the lymph system, which runs under the underarms. And I'm just gonna use Mr. Bones for a second here. So the lymph system, there are a lot of lymph nodes right in the underarm into the chest here, into this area. So what we're doing is with her arms up like this and stretched out, we're opening up all of this whole area, the axial area, or underarms, where the lymph system is. And with the hands here, like this forward, the hands taking them like this and stretching them, there's lymph in the fingertips, all the way through the arms, lymphatic system, and you're pumping it all the way into this area here. And that's both sides bilaterally. And then with her arms overhead, stretching the chest, you're also opening up the abdominals. So now the abdominals are stretching. And you're compressing the groin now. So now we're compressing the groin. How are we compressing the groin? By the leg being like this. So you're adding like a tourniquet effect. Is that healthy? Of course it is. Is child pose healthy? Of course it is. If you can do child pose, it's very healthy for you. This is another way how we affect the lymphatic system. So this is what I mean by Ashley's favorite. If you've never taken class with us before, I only recommend doing compression again if you're a student or a client, if you're doing a private session, your client is comfortable. Or if you ask your students permission in the beginning of class. And if you have a large class, I wouldn't even bother doing hands-on, because then people might feel left out. And some teachers prior to COVID would pick and choose, and I don't know, I find it unfair. So I'd rather just refrain when I have a large class. If I have a small class of 12 or less, I might, throughout the class, give a hands-on adjustment to each student. It might be in Savasana, it might be in Child's Pose, it might be in Warrior, it might be in Mountain Pose, so you can pick and choose. Don't always feel obligated to do hands-on. Not everybody wants hands-on. So I like to keep child pose, because Ashley was working a little. I like to keep it a little longer in child pose than normal. And then from here, Ashley, I'm going to ask you to prop yourself up into cat-cows. So now cat-cow, as you do know, opens up the entire spine. So now we're pumping from the core, pumping the lymph system from the core. We're activating the muscles from the groin right through the abdominals to pump the lymph all the way up into the arms and in towards the chest, where the lymph system drains actually. So again, we have lymph nodes that go from the lower body to the upper body. Downward facing dog helps move the lymph from the lower body to the upper body. The twists, when we did the Anjayasana twist. Again, just pumping the blood from the lower body to the upper body. you're sequencing your class, you might write it out differently than how you teach the class. So the way I wrote it out is very different than how I'm actually presenting the class here. I'm presenting the class more in a way where I can have Ashley in the poses that are easier accessible from one pose to the next versus standing up, down, lay down, roll over. We're not trying to teach Ashley new tricks here. We're just asking her to do certain poses. Again, this is another one that you can do for 30 to 90 seconds. You can do it slow, you can have your toes tucked, untucked. But the benefits of having the toes tucked is you're stimulating the lymph in the toes as well to move through the ankles, front of the ankles and shins. So that's just a benefit. And when you're in down dog, you're doing effectively the same thing. And then from here, Ashley, I'm going to ask you to bring your knees apart as wide as possible. As wide as possible. And then you're going to walk your hands forward and walk your body forward and stay on your elbows for a moment. Do you need a blanket under your knees or are you okay right here?
I'm fine.
All right. So I'm going to ask you to bring your hips back so that they're in line with your knees. A little more.
Don't you face the camera?
You can do that if you want to. Do you want a cushion under you?
I think I'll be okay with the mat.
Okay. So you know where we're going, I guess.
Well, not really, but.
She loves this pose. Not many people love this pose. Slide your elbows back and then draw your hips back so that they're in line with the knees. Bring your knees apart even further if you can. Yeah, so we're going right into frog pose. So frog pose, you can make it more of a restorative pose. So I'm going to actually place Ashley in a restorative frog pose.
Yeah.
Now, frog pose you can hold. I like to hold frog pose for like 5 minutes a day when I have the time to do it. So if I'm doing frog pose, I will actually hold it for 5 minutes.
So I just kind of collapse.
Yep. And then just slide the hips back just a little bit. Yep, slide the blank. Yeah, there you go.
All right, yeah, I wish my knees slid more, but they're kind of stuck on the mat.
Yes. Beautiful. You can get them further apart? I can get them further apart.
Kind of feels like rug burn. I don't know when I try to move it.
Well, yeah, don't move it. Just stay right where you are. But do you feel the stretch in the groin?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we're getting the groin muscles to stretch. Remember I talked about that the lymph system, there's a lot of lymph nodes that are here. When you're doing lymphatic drainage massage, you actually start with the belly. Just compression. You don't actually massage the belly. It's just compression. And then we actually massage, not the groin, we massage right next to the groin. So you're doing a slight pump. So by doing frog pose, the legs are out here. What you're doing is you're stretching all the muscles in the lower body into the groin to open up the muscles, to open up the lymph nodes in the groin even more. What's amazing about frog pose, the other benefits, right? Anatomically, this is great for lower back pain. Again, only if you can do it. This is great for any type of hip tightness, any type of, if you've done a vigorous practice, if you've lifted weights, or you just want to pose to calm the entire nervous system and calm and bring some healing to your hip flexors or psoas or your abdomen, or you're looking for a release, like an emotional release. This is a great pose for all of that. Again, stimulating the lymphatic system. So that's our purposes today. The last pose, we're going to hang out for probably about 3 to 5 minutes in there. So don't worry, we're prepping for it. So just a quick review. We've done standing forward fold. We did low lunge twist. We did downward facing dog. Low lunge twist on each side. We've done child's pose. We've done cat-cow. then from here, actually, just another 30 seconds or so. And one thing, Ashley already did it, but one little reminder to always remind your students or clients is when we're doing frog pose, if we're doing it for longer than 30 seconds, to please be mindful to rotate your head from one side to the next. Ashley already has done that. It's an automatic thing that your body says, let me do that. I don't want to have a neck problem now. And then from here, Ashley, I'm going to ask you to please slide your hands beneath your shoulders. And then gently press yourself up, but shift your body forward. As you press yourself, shift your body forward. Yeah, keep shifting forward, more and more.
Should I move the bolster?
Move the bolster, take the bolster, and you can take it out.
Bolster.
All right, now, slowly extend your legs behind you, and then now bring your legs together. No, but the legs, yes.
Got it.
And then come into Sphinx pose.
Okay.
So I love to go from frog to Sphinx. There's another pose in our sequence for lymphatic drainage. You're gonna do a super.
Yes, the interior designer.
Okay, I can put the pink blanket back.
No, it's fine.
You sure? Okay. Aesthetics. So Sphinx pose, what are we doing in Sphinx pose? We are opening up the front channels of the chest. So again, we went from frog pose, which opens up the groin and abdominal areas of where the lymph kind of gathers from the lower body into the upper body. And then from here, doing Sphinx pose right out of it, you're opening up the chest so that the lymph can continue to flow up through the midsection, through the abdominals, right through the lower chest, into the upper chest, and into the arms. And then from here, actually, I'm going to ask you to plant your forehead down, bend your knees, reach back with your right hand, left hand. Again, so frog pose you can stay in for a while. Sphinx pose we can stay in again, 30 to 90 seconds. However, this pose, depending on one's strength, I would probably only do for 30 seconds. But maybe we'll keep Ashley here for about an hour. What do you think, guys? Bow pose. Now from here, Ashley, I'm going to ask you just to simply kick your feet straight up towards the sky, and notice that it picks the upper body as well. Keep extending and kicking. Now kick your feet back behind you and kick up and then back behind you even more. Bow pose. Let the head drop back, drop back. Good. Just to get a stretch in the front side of the body. Again, 30 seconds here. If you can hold it for 90 seconds, God bless you. But, so what are we doing here? We're affecting the whole entire lymphatic system from the lower body to the upper body by providing a tremendous stretch and opening for the front body. And what are the other benefits we've talked about before in this pose? You're strengthening the back body and stretching out the front body. Another 5 seconds actually here. And then very, very slowly begin to come down. Beautiful. Now, slide the hands beneath the shoulders and press yourself up into cat-cow. Just for a moment. Soften up the spine. And then we're going to do one of my favorite poses. And then from here, coming to a neutral spine. Extend your right arm out to the side. Well, I always say like an airplane wing. Inhale, twist up to the right. Exhale, begin to draw your right hand under you and come to rest on the back of your right elbow. Thread the needle. Now, in thread the needle, there's a couple of options here. So I want Ashley to be in a perfect thread the needle. So what are we going to ask Ashley to do? We're going to ask Ashley to bring her hips forward ever so slightly. Good. Walk her left hand forward to the top of the mat. And then from here, press into the back of her right shoulder and then bring her hips over to the left. Yes. That's how you get the twist. So now what we're doing, we're affecting the lymphatic system on the entire left side of the body and constricting it on the right. So what we're doing is we're affecting the lymphatic system from here all the way through the left arm. You're affecting it on the right side too, but more so on the left. You're constricting the right side just a bit. And what is the other benefit here? If you woke up with a bad neck that morning, it's a great way to open it up and stretch it. And there is a modification for this type of, that we'll actually do before we do any of our poses that are face up. Meaning modification or an alternative pose to this. I would hold this for about 30 to 60 seconds. And then from here, Ashley, I'll ask you to slide your left hand beneath your left shoulder. Slide your left hand back. And then gently press yourself up. Take a counter twist up to the right. Gently, gently, gently go. Gently counter twist up to the right. Inhale. Exhale, bring your right hand down. And then on your next inhale, extend your left arm out. Take a twist up to the left. On the exhale, begin to rotate and draw your left arm under, and then walk your left hand a little bit towards me. Bring your hips forward. Now bring your hips over towards the right. Yes. Beautiful, Ashley. Actually, sorry, bring your hips to the left. My fault. There you go. My fault. You get more of a stretch into the back of the right side and a stretch into the left side. Can't see Ashley's face here, but there's a little red showing in this pose here because this is not easy. It's very comforting. I actually love this pose, but I know people that can't stand this pose. And you know what? It's not for everyone. Every pose that we've offered here today is not for everyone to do.
I love this pose because I feel like it helps with posture as well.
Big time, big time, big time. Especially after bow pose, where you pick yourself up and then you go back and you do this. It's like you stretched out the whole entire front side. Now, wow, stretching the back side one side at a time. So we'll hold this again. And if you're not a counter, meaning you don't like to count in these poses, I would say 5 slow Dirga breaths to 15 Dirga breaths. What is Dirga breath? Inhale, fill the belly, ribs, and chest. Exhale, chest, ribs, and belly. Because if you tell people 5 breaths, they go, we know, we don't want that. We want, inhale, fill the belly, ribs, and chest. And you pause, exhale, chest, ribs, and belly. It's also very calming. It also affects the nervous system. It's almost like a meditation in each pose. And then very gently slide your right hand beneath your right shoulder. Gently press yourself up. Take a counter twist up to the left. Beautiful. And let's bring the left hand down, do a few cat-cows. They always help. You notice that your spine is a little bit more open. And then before we begin to close, we're going to do just a few more poses. I want to show the alternative to this pose. If okay with you, I'd like for you to have a seat facing the camera into easy pose, a Sukhasana. And then from here, actually just inhale the arms up and overhead. And then exhale, begin to rotate and twist so that your right hand is on the outside of the left knee. This is the alternative. The other right.
The right hand.
On the outside of the left. Oh, yeah, right, sorry. Let's do the left hand on the outside of the right knee. She had it right this time. I had it wrong. See, she knows her right and left.
It's live, so you see
exactly,
her.
Exactly. So in this seated spinal twist, you can sit on a cushion if you'd like. You can have a block behind you so that you place your hands. The thing here is to be mindful that your shoulders are away from your ears. So we're going to lengthen through the crown, inhale. Exhale, rotate to the left just a bit more. Beautiful, from the torso. So this is the alternative to thread the needle. I just wanted to show this. Inhale the arms up and overhead. Exhale, rotate so that the right hand is on the outside of the left knee, which is where we were supposed to start, but Peter insisted that it was the other way. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. And then very, very slowly, actually, I'm going to ask you to make your way onto your back, hug your knees to chest. Everybody loves that one. So the seated spinal twist, you can do both of them. There's no reason why you can't do both of them in your sequence, but that's the alternative to thread the needle. If somebody has difficulty or doesn't like the twist of the head and neck in the thread the needle for some reasons, you can do the seated spinal twist, or do them both. And then from here, actually, I'm going to ask you to plant your feet onto the earth, arms alongside you, and then inhale, press into your feet, exhale, lift your hips up into bridge pose, or Setu Bandhasana, bridge pose. You can interlace the hands if you'd like, or if you feel like you want to go for the advanced version of bridge, you can take your hands, slide them beneath your hips, lift your hips, press your hips up, and now lift your chin ever so slightly, and then draw your knees forward a bit. Yeah, that's right. Now we're stretching the whole entire front side of the body. Whole entire front side of the body. Doing a back bend. Notice that we do a lot of forward and back bends to affect the lymphatic system. Now what you're doing is you're getting all of the lymph to drain from the knees all the way up into the upper body. And I would hold this for about 90 seconds. Again, tremendous benefits with bridge pose, strengthening the glutes, calves, lower back, mid back, upper back, stretching the thighs, quads, hip flexors, opening up the rib cage to the heart, stretching the chest and shoulders. And then from here, slide the hands out from beneath you. Begin to draw the hips to earth. Walk the feet out in front of you. Place the left foot on top of the right thigh. And then take the right hand, draw the right knee across the left knee across the body. Again, knee down, supine, knee twist, spinal twist. Opening up the entire left side of the lymphatic system here. Notice there are a lot of twists involved. You can make this a whole entire yin class. Or you can make it a yin-yang class if you'd like. Any heart opener is considered a yang pose. Standing forward fold is considered a yin pose. However, downward facing dog can be a yang pose. For some people, it's a yin pose, but I always think of it as a yang pose because it's a little bit more challenging for most. And then from here, Ashley, slowly begin to draw your left knee back into chest as you come onto your back. Give yourself a little hug, and then extend your left leg forward, right foot on top of the left thigh, and then twist over to the left. Extend your right arm out to the side. I would hold each of these for about 45 seconds or so, or maybe 60 seconds, or a full 90 if there's time in your class. And then from here, Ashley, I'm going to ask you to come onto your back and hug your knees to chest one more time. Now we're going to do my absolute all-time favorite pose, and it's not Savasana. That's Ashley's absolute all-time favorite pose. We're going to do legs up the wall. So this is dead bug. If you don't have a wall, you can do dead bug. Do you want me to bring the mat over?
No, that's fine.
Look at this. She's going right
So
for legs up the wall.
we specialize in yoga for incarcerated women, so we're definitely make lemonade out of lemons, and they have walls. So
That's right.
let's use the walls we have to
That's
an
right.
advantage.
So draw the arms alongside you, palms face up. You can also use this as a Savasana. Big time Savasana. Draw the shoulders away from the ears. And then from here, you stay here for about 60 seconds, and I'm going to add to this. I'm going to add to it, Peter. What are you talking about? We're going to do a version of Baddha Konasana, an inverted version of it. What is Baddha Konasana? Butterfly pose. I'm going to do a version of butterfly pose. So from here, Ashley, I'm going to ask you to bring the soles of your feet together, and then let your knees just drop open. Yeah, get that stretch. So again, affecting the entire lymphatic system. And if you really wanted to add a little bit more to this, I can ask Ash to slide her hands out to the arms out to the sides, and then overhead. The overhead part is not for everybody because not everyone has healthy shoulders, so we have to be mindful of that. You can ask your clients to bring their arms into cactus arms, or just bring them out to the sides. But for Ashley, I'm going to ask her to bring them overhead because I know her shoulders are healthy. You can imagine the benefits that you're getting here for the lymphatic system. Now we're getting every part of the blood, all our cells, the lymph system to drain from the lower body because we're inverted, right? All the way through the lymph channels or clusters that are in the groin, into the abdomen, going to the upper body, and then out to the arms as well. So they can fully drain. And this is also very comforting, very nourishing from mind, body, spirit. I've never did it with Ashley, but I've done private clients and I've left them in this pose. Like I've said, just stay here as long as you need. When I do virtual sessions, I often leave people in poses like this. Sometimes they drape their feet over a chair because they don't have access to a wall, or
I have to say, I did a savasana in our senior yoga for seniors, like this, draped over a chair.
Nice.
And my senior fell asleep, and it was so relaxing.
So relaxing for them. Now I'm going to ask you to bring your knees together and then slide your legs right back up the wall. And then another version of this is I'm just going to ask Ashley to let her legs just drop over now to the sides. Another deep stretch, another deep drain of the lymphatic system. It's like an advanced frog pose. Or if you want to practice your splits, here's another way to practice it with using the wall as leverage. Take a few more breaths. Inhale, exhale, inhale, and then very, very slowly on the exhale, begin to bring your feet together for another 30 seconds or so. Notice I'm not letting Ashley fall asleep here. Okay, Ashley. And then from here, I'm asking you to bring your knees together and just begin to come over onto either the right or left side. So almost like you talk to your clients as if they're coming out of Savasana. And then very gently begin to make your way into a seated position. And you can sit against the wall if you like. See the big smile because she's nice and relaxed. See, that was a different version of Savasana. That was very, very nourishing for you, I'm pretty sure. You can bring your hands hard center. Look at the smile. She's happy, happy lady. And then bow your chin to chest in honor of you taking the time to be here to nourish mind, body, and spirit. And everybody in YouTube land, I always say YouTube land, thank you so much for joining us this morning or afternoon, wherever you are in the world. The light in me honors the light in you. Namaste.
Namaste. Peter, that was the most relaxing class. There's really something to it, this lymphatic drainage. Thank you for sharing. Have a blessed day, everyone.
Have a blessed day, everyone.